Do you know a global problem called racism against black people, especially in the US? But what is the definition of racism? In my opinion, the definition of racism is to discriminate against the other races with having strong stereotype. According to Cambridge Dictionary, the meaning of racism is policies, behaviors, rules, etc. that results in a continued unfair advantage to some people and unfair or harmful treatment of others based on race. Most people say that racism discrimination is bad. But by time the 16th president of U.S. Abraham Lincoln proclaimed the incarceration of slaves, that dictionary feeling that has been planted in people for a long time as natural will not change easily with the development of laws. It's not common for people to act unconsciously to discriminate against others even though they think they are not discriminating. But why did the racism discrimination against black people happen? Let's find out. Discrimination against black originated and is caused by the trading of black Africans as slaves. At the end of 15th century, Spanish and Portuguese colonies in New Americans were dominated by Indian slave slaves. At first, slave slavery was done by Indians, but as the population declined rapidly, the Atlantic slaves began in 16th century to supply black slaves from the African continent. Since 16th century, the black slave trade has been carried out as a national project by Portugal, Spain, England, and France, and etc. And many black Africans were sent various parts of the African continent, North and South Africa, and West Indies, were used slaves in mines and plantation. Also, Britain, which advanced into the world of sea during the Age of Discovery, bought and sold African black as slaves, and even made laws for that during a civil war in the United States. After that, however, racism against black did not disappear and anti-discrimination movement continued. In the US, there was one black man named George Floyd. He was killed by a white police. George Floyd's death has changed the US, particularly in how society should treat blacks fairly without racism. He has changed mainly three things. Firstly, George Floyd's death raises awareness of racism, and many campaigns such as Black Lives Matter are born. Through all the campaigns, people are aware that we need to treat each other fairly regardless of race, as all lives matter. Secondly, George Floyd's death has triggered U.S. states of policy reform regarding to use force, the duty of officers to intervene in police misconduct and law enforcement, and misconduct regarding desertification of police. This is prevent the abuse of power of police on the black. Thirdly, George Floyd this has also triggered the American CEOs come together to increase the job opportunities for the black. 2 years ago, one of the black CEO, Kenneth Carter Frazier from the Fortune 500, spoke about George Floyd's death. Soon after, Kenneth Carter Frazier worked together with several CEOs, and more than $100 million were raised to launch the 110 Workforce Initiative. This has secured $100 million of good opportunity for black people. In a nutshell, through the research, I'm very glad that through the death of George Floyd, many initiatives and movements raised awareness of racism, and laws were in place to protect black people as their lives are precious as other races.